Turn. Oh, there it is. I'm first going to look at you in the impact position because it's the most important. Everything the ball does, how far it goes, how high it goes, how much it spins and curves, is a direct response to the laws of physics and motion at the brief moment of impact. On the left is Tiger hitting an iron. This is video I took at last year's US Open. On the right is Grant Wade hitting a driver. Grant was a PGA Tour player during the 90s and now is one of the top instructors of tour players. Grant's teaching partner is a good friend of mine, Joe Mayo, who lives in Las Vegas. Grant was considered by many as having one of the best and most fundamentally sound golf swings. At impact, they both have the majority of their weight on the left side. In fact, the average pro will have 85 to 90% of their weight on the left side at impact. I've drawn a red box from the center of their ankles to the top of their head, and you can see that the red line off their left foot is passing right through their belt buckle, showing how the center of their mass is right on top of their left foot. They both have extended arms through impact. Their elbows are close together and not separating. Having extended arms and weight forward allows them to control the low point of their arc of their swing. When hitting the iron, this fundamental allows the placement of the low point to be in front of the ball, so that they hit the ball first and then the ground, producing the maximum compression of the golf ball. These fundamentals also allows for the highest level of consistency in controlling the face angle and club path during impact, so that you in turn have the highest level of consistency in hitting whatever optimal ball flight you want. Okay, Justin, going to look at your iron swing first. Got Tiger on the right here, got you in the impact position. The things I'm looking for, I was looking at your shot card and your flight scope data, that your ball flight errors, you overhook it at times. A hook is caused by having the path too far to the right of where the face is pointing. And you did have, with your iron, you had the face slightly to the left and the path slightly to the right of face, which would be kind of a real small pull hook, pull draw. I believe that I need to tinker a little bit with changing your path and your face in order for you to hit it a little bit straighter. You are aggressive. You have an aggressive swing, and I don't want to change that. I want you to keep that aggressive swing. And even though you have some uniqueness in how you use your lower body, you're taking full advantage of your upper body strength, and that's fine. I don't want you to lose 1 foot of distance when you hit the ball. Having power is a real asset to scoring if we can get that power under control. So I don't want to achieve control by taking away your power. I want to give you control of the power. So I'm looking for those fundamental changes, those mechanical changes that I can make, or some change I can make, that will give you control the simplest way and the fastest way. And right now, I have a couple of thoughts on what would do that, and they do not require you making a swing change. That we will make a slight grip change and a slight ball position change. You have right through here a very fast and an almost excessive roll of the hands, and you end up with this angle here very, very quickly from the left forearm and the wrist. And so you really have to twist that club over very quickly. That's part of your power. So you have very fast hands through impact. There is no absolute perfect gripping position, rotational position of the left hand that everybody should adopt. There is an absolute correct rotational position for you, and what you need to do is try to find it. I believe that you actually need to have a slightly weaker position in your left hand, and move your left hand slightly to the left, so your thumb isn't to the side of the handle so much, but maybe a little closer to being on top of the handle. So if we have an opportunity to work again together, I would want to work with your left hand and have you hit some balls, and let's see what kind of a change it makes in your ball flight. My suspicion will be, and belief would be, based on my experience, that you would end up with a very small draw, a very subtle little curve, and not the big sweeping hook that you sometimes fear. We need to take I need you to be aggressive without the fear of it going left. The other thing I think you need to do is experiment with ball position. Your golf swing is a circle, and this circle is coming down. It's coming down. It's coming down. The further back in your stance, the more the path is to the right. The further forward, the more level. If your path at times gets too out, you just swing too far out, then by moving the ball up, that will make the path make contact with the ball with only a small amount of outwardness in the path. So moving the ball more forward in your stance will reduce the curve. And so that's the other thing I'd like to experiment with is ball position change and grip change. Now this is your driver. Before I talk about the driver, let me talk about that iron again. The one shot that I showed you was with, looked like a wedge of some kind, could have even been a sand wedge, as I first told that I filmed you on. And you played it quite a bit closer to your right foot. I looked at some of the other irons that you played. Some were like 8 irons possibly. You didn't play a lot of middle irons or long irons during the round. But you did tend to play all your irons that I saw to the right of center. And as a general rule, that's too far back in your stance and will promote a hook. I think Tiger's hitting like a 4-iron here, and it's right there. If he was playing a driver, he would be playing it about right in there. And you were playing that wedge back here, and you were playing some 8-irons back in here. As a general rule, I like you to play your wedges about the middle of your stance, the driver off the instep as a general rule, and then everything else in between those 2 points. And only specialty shots would you play the ball behind the center. That will make your path less out. It would make your path less to the right of the face if we can move that path slightly toward the target line. Now looking at your driver here, and I'll talk about the grip at the end. That's the only other thing I want to talk about. Right now, I don't want to focus on making mechanical changes in the way you move. We want you to retain your power. I don't want you to have to go through rebuilding your swing. You're too good a player, too good an athlete to fool with that right now. What we need to find out is, can you play scratch golf? Can you shoot in the low 70s without making mechanical changes? And or at least make your first level of improvement without doing anything like that. Let's work with the simple stuff first that is causing your ball flight errors. If you keep your swing intact without changing it, but all of a sudden now you don't have the big fear of the hook, then you're going to score. And right now, I'm not saying that there isn't going to be some mechanical structural changes that you need to make in your swing, but it would be a mistake to try to make those before we first adjust your grip and stance, grip and ball position. We do that first, and then we see what we've got with your ball flight after that. And then if there still remains some ball flight issues, then we go into the mechanical parts of your swing to fix them. We've got to make the left hand change first and see what your ball flight is. We've got to make a slight ball position change first before we and see what the ball flight is before we do anything else. That's step one. When it comes to ball position and the driver, you play that ball too far back in your stance, which will promote 2 kinds of misses. If you get the club square where you want it, your path will be too far out, hitting out, and you'll hook it. You'll start it on line, but it'll overhook, it'll overcurve. Or from when it's that far back, you will come in and it's easier to block the ball to the right. And those are the two kinds of misses you probably have. You have the hook and the block. We need that. I need you to get that ball up here. Incrementally, I need you to feel like your hands are behind the golf ball. Now, my concern is as you work on this by yourself, you may not know how to deal with the, you hit 10 balls with a change in your grip, then you did it yourself, and change the ball position and you did it yourself. You're really not going to have the experience and knowledge of how to move from your old way to a new way, and how to deal with the chaos that occurs in between there. That's where you would probably need my eye looking at what you're doing, because you're not going to see it from the outside, and that's what you need. You need a pair of eyes seeing you set up and work on this at least the first time. Then you can on your own work on these things. But that's what I recommend, is that if we do get a chance to work, we'll work on adjusting your grip and adjusting your ball position for the sole purpose of getting rid of the hook. Now, I've mentioned two things that I'd like to adjust. One is your ball position, and the other one is your grip a little bit. I don't want to do those simultaneously. I want to change the ball position first. It's possible that is the main culprit, is ball position and not your grip. We need to test that first. This here is your grip on the right that I took a quick shot of on the range before we went out and played. And on the left is you hitting the driver. I don't have a close-up of it, but from here it looks like you actually have on this drive you actually set up with a stronger position. It looks like more of that label of the glove is showing on the tee box. So to me, it's possible that the grip on the right that you showed me when I asked you to show me your grip is not the same grip position that you eventually settle into on the course before you take the club back. That you might actually turn that left hand over in a stronger position without knowing that you're doing it when you're on the course and right before you take the club back. What you're showing me on this here, when I asked you to take that right hand off, that's pretty neutral. That's not what we would call real strong. And if it is stronger than what you should have for you personally, then we would move it a fraction counterclockwise. To me, it looks like the way you're holding the club on the left-hand picture, the left-hand screen here, you looks like you have your left hand much further over than what you're showing me here on the right side. I'm fairly confident that if you hit with the grip on the left, that the grip is an issue for you. But if my eyes are fooling me and you are using the grip on the right for that swing, for your golf swing, then it's not as strong as I thought it might be. It still may be something we have to move a little bit and experiment with. This is another swing on the course, and you're hitting just a little knockdown shot. But again, that left hand looks a lot stronger than the picture you're showing me on the right.